$11,000 a month. That's what Cincinnati taxpayers are spending on suspended city council members Jeff Pastor and PG Sittenfeld. Both men continue to collect their city paychecks and their health benefits while awaiting trial on federal corruption charges.
Investigative reporter Paula Christian explains why the city is still paying them and if taxpayers will get that money back.
Cincinnati taxpayers could spend $132,000 on salaries and benefits for Pastor and Sittenfeld in the next year. With the court system backed up due to COVID, that's how long it could take for their court cases to be resolved. In the meantime, their terms on council don't end for another year.
I was surprised when I learned that we continued to pay them, and obviously their replacement would be paid also.
Councilman David Mann says state law allows Pastor and Sittenfeld to continue getting paid pending the outcome of their criminal cases. That's because both men took voluntary suspensions. In a tight budget year, Mann would like to see that money spent elsewhere.
That pays for 1.5 police officers, 1.5 firefighters. It pays for 1.5 or 2 nurses that help treat people with COVID.
Meanwhile, the city also has to pay the salaries of 2 new council members to replace Pastor and Sittenfeld. Steve Gooden is taking Pastor's place on council. A judge has not yet named a replacement for Sittenfeld.
Nobody anywhere ever likes double salaries. And the thought that the reason Cincinnati taxpayers are going to have to pay double salaries is because of corruption charges is even more infuriating.
University of Cincinnati political science professor David Niven says voters are tired of the corruption scandals at City Hall. It began when the FBI arrested former council member Tamaya Denard in February. She resigned a week later and stopped getting city paychecks. A judge sentenced Denard to 18 months in prison last month after she pleaded guilty to honest services wire fraud. Then the FBI arrested Pastor and Sittenfeld last month in separate cases. Both men face indictments for allegedly taking bribes from developers.
Voters have a very simple understanding of this. And they know in their own lives, they're not paid to stay home while somebody else gets paid to do their job. Why should anybody else be?
But attorneys for Pastor and Sittenfeld say their clients should not be removed from their elected positions based on accusations alone. Sittenfeld's attorney, Charlie Rickers, says PG is eager to return to the seat he was elected to. And the sooner we achieve justice, the sooner PG will be back to serving our community. Pastor's attorney, Ben Dusing, says the voluntary suspension is fair to everyone under the circumstances. But Mann isn't sure it's fair to taxpayers.
So our challenge is to restore trust and give citizens a reason to believe in us again. And obviously, if we're spending $132,000 the way we're talking about here, that's not a very encouraging development to try to explain to the voters.
If Pastor and Sittenfeld are convicted, the city could go to court to try and recoup the salaries it paid to them while on suspension. But Mann says he believes the city will be out that money permanently. Paula Christian, WCPO 9 I-Team.